Richard Grieco once rivaled Johnny Depp as a hot young star, but his dazzling rise quickly crumbled into obscurity. What really happened to this bad boy icon of the 80s? Born in 1965 in a modest family, Richard Grieco seemed destined for success from a young age. A charismatic athlete and artist, an injury pushed him away from a pro sports career and into modeling, quickly landing major brand campaigns. But that was just the start. In 1988, Grieco joined 21 Jump Street during its peak, carving a unique, rebellious character that split fandom between him and Johnny Depp. This behind-the-scenes tension fanned the flames of their infamous rivalry. Awarded his own spin-off, Booker promised a new stardom peak. But a bitter behind-the-scenes rights battle led to an abrupt cancellation, blindsiding Grieco and marking his first major career blow. Undeterred, Grieco tried to transition to film, but hit stumbling blocks. If Looks Could Kill delivered mixed reviews and failed to break his TV image, while Mobsters brought critical acclaim, but no box office glory. Shifting gears, Grieco launched two bands aiming to establish a serious music career. Despite loyal fans, commercial success evaded him, mirroring his ongoing battle to redefine his artistic identity. Painting became Grieco's refuge and true expression. Encouraged by Dennis Hopper, he embraced abstract emotionalism, unveiling his art only in 2009. His works connect deeply with viewers, symbolizing freedom beyond Hollywood's bounds. His love life was turbulent, marked by passionate, sometimes toxic relationships and personal struggles, yet he remained accountable. Though no longer a household name, Richard Grieco's impact remains undeniable. He lives quietly, pursuing art and small projects on his terms. His story is one of remarkable reinvention, choosing freedom over fame. Richard Grieco's journey from Hollywood bad boy to abstract artist defying norms is a powerful reminder. Sometimes, stepping away from the spotlight reveals a truer, more fulfilling life. What do you think? Was his escape from fame a loss or a hidden success? Early life and promising start. Richard John Grieco Jr. was born on March 23, 1965 in Watertown, New York, into a family of Italian and Irish descent. He grew up in Dexter, a small town, alongside his two sisters Elizabeth and Laura, and his brother David. His family wasn't wealthy, and his parents, Richard Grieco Sr. and Carolyn Grieco, instilled in their children a sense of discipline and the importance of pursuing stable careers. From an early age, Grieco had a natural charisma, not just because of his looks, but also due to his confident demeanor. Even in a quiet town, he stood out as a remarkable individual. While attending General Brown High School, Grieco showcased outstanding talent in football. He played as both a center and a cornerback, and was seen as having great potential for a professional career with strong physical abilities and a fierce fighting spirit. He was always the center of attention on the field. Coaches praised his leadership qualities, his fearlessness, and his relentless dedication to the team. Alongside sports, Grieco also had a passion for painting, often spending hours creating art driven by emotion rather than technique. It wasn't just a hobby, it would later become a significant part of his life. When Grieco enrolled at Central Connecticut State University, he continued to pursue football, aiming to go pro, but a serious injury abruptly halted everything. Unable to follow his athletic path, he fell into a state of uncertainty, unsure of what to do next. Then an unexpected opportunity came along during a visit to New York. He caught the eye of a talent scout from elite model management. With his handsome looks, ideal height, and magnetic presence, Grieco was quickly signed as a model. In a short time, he became the face of major brands like Armani, Calvin Klein, and Chanel. Though successful in the fashion industry, Grieco didn't want to stop there. Modeling brought him wealth and fame, but it didn't satisfy him. What truly captivated him was acting. Breakthrough and fierce rivalry on 21 Jump Street. In 1988, Richard Grieco joined 21 Jump Street during its third season, at a time when the show was dominating television and had turned Johnny Depp into one of the hottest young stars in Hollywood. But Grieco's arrival wasn't just meant to complement the cast, it was designed to shake things up, to bring in a true counterweight to Depp. Fox wanted a character with his own magnetic pull, an undercover cop who played by his own rules, and Dennis Booker was the perfect fit. With tousled hair, leather jackets, ripped jeans, and a defiant attitude, Booker stood in stark contrast to Tom Hansen's upright image. Within just a few episodes, the character sparked intense debate among fans. Unlike Hansen, the young idealistic cop who followed the law, Booker acted on instinct, wasn't afraid to challenge authority, and constantly broke the rules. This rebellious streak created a clear division in the fan base, with Team Depp and Team Grieco battling fiercely. Fox quickly recognized the marketing goldmine and turned this rivalry into the perfect promotional strategy. The show's teasers were edited like a silent war, fueling curiosity and massive viewership. But the tension between Depp and Grieco wasn't just for the cameras. Grieco later revealed real friction on set, largely because Depp resented the fame 21 Jump Street brought him, while Grieco thrived in rising stardom. Depp didn't want to be seen as just another teen idol, and Grieco's arrival threatened to steal the spotlight, stirring discomfort. The two weren't friendly off-screen, and this unease added a genuine edge to their on-screen confrontations. Still, Grieco was no Depp clone. He quickly proved Dennis Booker was a fully formed character in his own right. Booker brought a grittier, more defiant energy to the show, and the audience loved it. Grieco became the standout cast member after Depp, an achievement few could claim after just one season. Spin-off series Booker, an unexpected setback. Fox recognized Richard Grieco's immense potential after his success on 21 Jump Street and decided to give him an extraordinary opportunity, an entire spin-off series dedicated to his character, Dennis Booker. This was no small feat, as supporting characters rarely get this level of spotlight. Booker promised to be darker, bolder, and more complex than his previous work, diving into psychological layers and showcasing a rebellious lead who played by his own rules. At first, the show sparked great hope, with Grieco maintaining his magnetic presence, blending his signature bad boy image with a cool, unpredictable edge. Ratings were stable, and Fox eagerly marketed him as Hollywood's next big challenger. However, the promising trajectory came to an abrupt halt behind scenes. A bitter power struggle erupted between Fox and the show's producer, Stephen J. Cannell, the mastermind behind both 21 Jump Street and Booker. Fox demanded full control over the international broadcasting rights, something Cannell refused to surrender. Both sides stood firm, and the deadlock ended with a harsh decision by Fox: cancel both shows simultaneously. This was a stunning commercial purge, and Grieco found himself just a pawn in a board game far bigger than his career. He was blindsided, learning about the power play only after the cancellation had been decided. Grieco later revealed he never got the chance to save Booker, as negotiations had long been closed before he even knew there was a problem. One day, he was the lead star of his own series, and the next, he was left with nothing. This devastating blow marked a bitter lesson in Hollywood's unforgiving nature, where even promising talent can be discarded at a whim. Despite the show's quality and growing fan base, business politics killed what could have been a major breakthrough for Richard Grieco's career. Film career struggles with If Looks Could Kill and Mobsters. Grieco tried to transition to film, but hit stumbling blocks. If Looks Could Kill delivered mixed reviews and failed to break his TV image, while Mobsters brought critical acclaim, but no box office glory. In 1991, If Looks Could Kill was an action comedy, styled like a younger generation's James Bond, where Grieco played Michael Corbin, a high school student mistakenly identified as a spy and thrust into a dangerous espionage plot. Despite showcasing Grieco's signature charm and good looks, the movie failed to become the box office hit many expected it to be. Critics were split, with some appreciating its lighthearted fun, while others called the story too simplistic and lacking depth. More importantly, audiences were not ready to embrace Grieco as a top action star yet. He was still closely tied to his Dennis Booker persona, and this film wasn't strong enough to shatter that image. Determined to prove his acting range, Grieco returned just months later with Mobsters in 1991. This mafia crime film featured rising stars Christian Slater, Patrick Dempsey, Costas Mandylor, and Grieco himself, portraying the notorious gangster Bugsy Siegel. It demanded that Grieco portray both the suave gentleman and the ruthless killer, two conflicting sides that tested his skills. Mobsters was pitched as a youthful take on mafia classics like The Godfather and Goodfellas, but despite its promising cast, it couldn't live up to the towering legacy of those giants. Though Mobsters did not achieve significant acclaim, Grieco's performance earned more positive feedback than his earlier work, showing he could handle complex, layered roles with dramatic weight. However, despite these efforts, Grieco never landed any major roles afterward and gradually lost his grip on the Hollywood spotlight. The struggles of these two films highlight the difficulty many TV stars face when breaking into cinema, especially when trying to escape typecasting as a bad boy or teen idol. Yet, Grieco's film attempts demonstrated his ambition and talent, even if commercial success eluded him. Music ventures and continued artistic challenges. Shifting gears, Grieco launched two bands aiming to establish a serious music career. Despite loyal fans, commercial success evaded him, mirroring his ongoing battle to redefine his artistic identity. In 1994, seeking a new direction as his acting career began to stall, Grieco formed the Dunmire Band and signed a recording contract with a record company in Germany. It was a bold move, especially since he was still best known as a television actor rather than a serious musician. A year later, he released the album Waiting for the Sky to Fall, 1995, hoping it would mark a fresh chapter in his career. But things didn't go as planned. Despite some interest from loyal fans, the album failed to achieve commercial success and didn't establish him in the music industry. No one saw Grieco as a legitimate singer, and it seemed the public still preferred to see him on screen rather than behind a microphone. In 2004, he formed another band, Wasteland Park, once again hoping to break the mold and prove his musical talent. But the story repeated itself. The band gained little recognition, had no hits, and couldn't help Grieco escape the looming shadow of his acting past. After years of effort without a breakthrough, Grieco finally accepted reality. He stepped away from music, left the studio behind, and turned his attention to other passions. Though he didn't find major success, these ventures showed that Grieco wasn't just a lucky star. He was a true artist, unafraid to challenge himself, even when it meant facing failure. Finding peace and passion in painting. Painting became Grieco's refuge and true expression. Encouraged by Dennis Hopper, Hollywood legend and gifted painter himself, Hopper saw something special in Grieco's paintings and urged him to stop hiding his talent. According to Hopper, Grieco's art wasn't just for himself. It was meant to connect with others who shared the same emotional frequency. It would take another 10 years before Grieco finally had the confidence to act on that advice. In 2013, he officially debuted his work with a solo exhibition at Gallery Sparta in Hollywood. This wasn't just another art show. It had a communal spirit. A portion of the proceeds from Grieco's pieces was donated to Wolf Connection, a wolf rescue organization, and Fueled by the Fallen, which supports military and law enforcement personnel. It was clear Grieco wasn't just displaying his art. He wanted it to make a real positive impact on the world around him. Grieco calls his style abstract emotionalism. He doesn't paint in a realistic way or try to depict the world clearly. Instead, he channels pure emotion through color, lines, and texture. For Grieco, each painting holds no fixed meaning. It's up to the viewer to interpret. One might see loneliness, another might feel rage or joy. That's the power of Grieco's art. It doesn't define, it opens a space for the soul to wander freely. Unlike music or acting fields where success is measured by box office numbers or chart rankings, Grieco's art doesn't need Hollywood's approval to be valuable. His paintings aren't for the masses. They're for those who can truly feel them. Success came naturally. One of his earliest pieces sold for $10,900, an impressive figure for a non-mainstream artist. His Gallery Sparta show surprised even some of his closest friends in the entertainment industry. Legendary singer Johnny Mathis, Grieco's golfing buddy, admitted he had no idea about his talent for painting. I only knew him on the golf course. I never knew he had this whole emotional artistic world inside him, he said. Many who attended the show were instantly drawn to Grieco's work, not just because of the images, but because of the raw, unfiltered emotion they carried. One unique thing about Grieco's approach is that he doesn't paint to sell his paintings. They aren't commercial products, they're parts of himself. That's why the people who own Grieco's art are those who truly connect with the work, not just fans buying into his name. Grieco also employs distinctive techniques, like creating shapes beneath the canvas to produce unique textures, making each piece more than just an image. It becomes a three-dimensional experience. Grieco never stops experimenting, never stops creating, because to him art isn't about arriving somewhere. It's about the journey of discovery. Turbulent love life and personal struggles. Richard Grieco's love life was a whirlwind of passion, turbulence, and heartbreaks. It all began in 1988 when he dated Christina Applegate, the star of Married with Children. Their relationship lasted nearly 2 years, but ended in late 1989. Not long after, Canadian model and actress Kimber Sison entered his life. Kimber was one of Grieco's longest relationships, marked by on and off periods that stretched across nearly a decade. Despite breaking up several times, they always found their way back to each other, even during Kimber's brief marriage to someone else. While still involved with Kimber, Grieco had other relationships, including dating Katie Wagner in 1993, daughter of actor Robert Wagner. That same year, he met French actress Adeline Blondeau during a European interview tour, and they had a romantic but ultimately unsustainable long-distance relationship. Between 1993 and 1994, Grieco had a complicated relationship with Star Trek Deep Space Nine star Terry Frell. Frell wanted stability, but Grieco wasn't ready for marriage. The long stretches apart, due to filming, intensified tensions, leading to jealousy and suspicion. Though Grieco insisted he never cheated, he chose to walk away from the relationship for good. In 1996, he met Yasmin Blee on the set of Heaven or Vegas. They became inseparable, dating from 1996 to 1997, breaking up, then reuniting in 1998. Their relationship was intense and dramatic, battling personal demons. Yasmin struggled with issues while Grieco was consumed by alcohol. Though deeply in love, constant arguments and self-destructive behavior turned their bond toxic. They got engaged and moved in together in 1998, but by 2000, it had collapsed and they separated for good. From this union came their son Dylan Justice Cienz in May 1999. Initially uncertain about paternity, Grieco accepted responsibility after a DNA test confirmed he was the father and began providing for Dylan. However, in 2003, reports surfaced that Grieco had fallen behind on child support for about a year. Kimber prompted legal action intending to foreclose on his house, but he quickly sold the property to settle the debt and also bought Dylan Christmas gifts to make amends. Despite their long history, Kimber and Grieco never reunited after their final breakup in 1998. Grieco's tumultuous love life reflects the challenges of fame, personal struggles, and the quest for stability. Yet, through it all, he remained true to himself, navigating a life filled with passion and hardship. Legacy and life today. Though no longer a household name, Richard Grieco still carries the same brooding charm and strong personality. His current life is quieter, less chaotic, but filled with purpose. Driven by a love for art that never fades, Richard Grieco was once a Hollywood icon, but instead of fighting to hold on to the spotlight, he chose to disappear not out of failure, but because he wanted a life free from fame and other people's expectations. No marriage, no chase for attention, no desperate clinging to the stage lights. That was his choice. But was it the right choice? Some say he lost everything, but looking back, maybe he found something far more valuable, a life lived on his own terms, no longer under Hollywood's control. He no longer had to please anyone but himself. Today, Grieco remains active in the arts, continuing to pursue his passions. He currently lives in Los Angeles, where he spends most of his time in his private studio creating art. Painting remains his greatest passion, and he continues to hold exhibitions showcasing works in his self-developed style of abstract emotionalism. Grieco's paintings attract collectors and sell at high prices, allowing him to sustain his artistic career without relying on Hollywood. In addition to painting, Grieco still takes part in smaller film projects, working as a producer and director on independent films. He's also a regular presence at Comic-Con events, where he connects with loyal fans of 21, Jump Street, and Booker. To stay engaged with his audience, he's active on social media, especially on Instagram, where he shares his artwork, updates on new projects, and glimpses into his everyday life. Though his golden era may have passed, Grieco still carries the same brooding charm and strong personality. His current life is quieter, less chaotic, but filled with purpose driven by a love for art that never fades. Richard Grieco's journey from Hollywood bad boy to abstract artist defying norms is a powerful reminder. Sometimes, stepping away from the spotlight reveals a truer, more fulfilling life. His story shows that success isn't always about constant fame and fortune, but about finding peace and purpose on your own terms. From the wild nights and fierce rivalries to quiet studios and heartfelt paintings, Grieco embraced change with courage and authenticity. Was his escape from fame a loss or a hidden triumph? That's a question that leaves us thinking. In a world obsessed with glitz and glamour, Richard chose freedom, passion, and self-expression over the hollow chase for stardom. His legacy isn't just the roles he played or the music he tried, but the artist he became beyond the cameras. It's a reminder that sometimes the most radical thing you can do is walk away from the spotlight to find your own light. What do you think about Richard Grieco's way of life? A life without marriage, without perpetual fame, but full of passion and freedom. Is that a loss or a success in its own way? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned as we uncover more fascinating stories from Hollywood.